In this lesson, we'll begin drawing a character within the boundaries of our third shape. Alright, so in the previous lesson we finished refining the line work here for our second character, and let's go ahead and just move on to the third shape here. Now, in looking at this third shape, we're going to start again by using rough, quick lines, pencil type lines, to bring out the shapes in our character. And in looking at this shape, comparing it to our other shapes, I think the first thing that I notice about this shape is the nice curved forms here that almost mimic hair. I see here a lot of nice flowing hair. So, just as in before, the first thing we're going to do is lay down our sphere for our head. We're going to map out the head of the character. So, just kind of looking at where that might lie here within this shape, I'm going to put it right around in here, I think. Sort of like that, about that size. I think that's a nice place to map out the head of our character. Alright, so, in looking at this, we need to decide which direction our character is going to be looking. So I'm going to go ahead and put down some direction lines here to help us get some dimension out of this sphere we've just drawn. And we need to go ahead and hang a face off of this sphere. So I think I'm going to go with a little bit more of a stylized type face. Let's come in here and draw in sort of a warped rectangle type face. Just sort of like that. Right, no, maybe this is like the bangs on our character right here. That's kind of what I'm starting to see here. Maybe there's a fold or a part almost right in this area right here. So let's go ahead and bring sort of a nice tuft of hair down and across the face. So we'll bring it down, start it right about here, maybe bring it down and around sort of like that. Alright, now let's go ahead and start thinking about maybe some facial type features here. Let's go ahead and maybe draw in a map line here for the eyes. We'll map out the placement of the nose as well. And let's go ahead and map out the mouth as well here. So we could actually draw in a line here all the way down the face, sort of a line that is the vertical center of all those features right here, just like we've been doing in previous lessons. And I may come in here and just refine the shape of this chin here just a little bit. And if this is where the eye is going to be, we're going to put an ear right about here. Alright, so that's a nice ear shape. We've kind of got a basis to work from here for this character. Now, we could come in here and easily just start playing with some of the hair, but the hair is really secondary. We need to ground the character by placing in a neck here. So let's go ahead and draw in a line that's going to represent the center of our neck. And that's obviously going to connect to the shoulder area here. And maybe for this character we're doing something a little different with our arms. Instead of just sitting there idle, let's go ahead and draw in a tilt line here for the shoulders themselves, and then we can draw in a little ball here to represent one shoulder, and let's go ahead and represent another one here. Now, using this, we could actually, maybe she's actually shrugging here. Maybe we pull in some arm shapes. Let's go ahead and draw in our first arm, just using a simple line here. And maybe the second arm is sort of like this. So maybe she's holding those arms together here, sort of clasping her hands. We're not actually going to get that far down into the character, but then at this point we could actually come in and begin drawing in some more solid forms. Let's come in and sort of fill this neck in just a little bit. And maybe we could actually bring these shoulders in. Let's go ahead and bring this one in as well. And we could go ahead and pull in the line for her back. Now that we're getting to the point where we're adding some mass to her shoulders and her arms. Alright, so we've kind of got the basic form of this character here, and I think it's really shaping up to look pretty good. You can really see how the initial shape is really taking on the form of her hair at this point. And really what we've done is we've added to it, giving a character a head and a body here in relation to this hair. So I'm going to come in here now at this point, and let's go ahead and begin to draw in some eyes for our character. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring these map lines all the way back and around and just kind of map out the form of this face here just a little bit more, so we can kind of see how these lines are going to wrap around this if it was a three-dimensional object. Now I know that this is obviously a two-dimensional character, but it helps to think about the shape of this head as a three-dimensional form as you're placing eyes and other facial features. And, you know, with this character, I think because we're going fairly stylized with it, maybe we want to come in and add in some very large eyes. Maybe we come in here, pull in some really big, expressive eyes for our character. And let's go ahead and give it a little curve down here at the bottom. Really nice big eye. We can go ahead and put in some little eyelashes down here if we want to, and you know, maybe the pupils and the irises in the eye are actually very large too. So let's come in here, pull in a very large one there, sort of like that. Maybe we could just sort of map out the pupil as well. Maybe she's looking up and to the side, kind of thinking in a thoughtful position here. Let's just zoom out. Yeah, that's a very large eye. That's much larger in proportion to than the other eyes we've drawn on other characters to this point. So let's go ahead and draw in another eye over here. Again, thinking about the corner of the eye here and here, corner of the eye here and here, they're pretty much following these map lines that we've drawn in. So maybe we want to pull this one down just a little bit here. Give that line a nice curve to it. And let's go ahead and draw in the top portion of this eye. And we can go ahead and draw in that iris and the pupil again here, to sort of mimic the position of the other ones. I think this is a part where you really should pay careful attention in placing the center parts of the eye, and because it controls the direction your character is going to be looking. And you know, if you don't get those just right, they're going to appear to be looking two different directions with two different eyes. So let's go ahead and sort of pull this one down just a little bit further here. There we go. I think both those eyes look like they're looking in the same direction, and you know, that's important. You don't want your character to have sort of this goofy look on their face. Maybe they're looking two different directions with one with each of the eyes. So we'll come in here now and go ahead and begin drawing in some eyebrows here. Now, I don't want her to look angry or distraught or anything like that, so I want to kind of come in and draw sort of a neutral eyebrow. Sort of like that. Now you got to think here that this eyebrow is probably going to be covered by this part of the hair that we've brought down over her face, at least partially. So maybe we come in and just draw a hint of that eyebrow right there. Let's bring this one down just a little further. All right, so let's go ahead and continue down her face and start working on a nose here. No, you know, a nice nose for this would be one that's very minimal, one that really doesn't take up much real estate on the character's face. So I'm going to come in and again just draw in a nice little petite nose here. One that has a little bit of a curl to the end of it. All right. You know, for this character, we've really focused on exaggerating those eyes, and you know, I think I'd like to do the same thing with the character's lips. So let's go ahead and draw in some really nice big full lips here. Maybe this upper lip, very large, very full. And let's go ahead and do the same thing with this bottom lip. Make it a little bit wider, but maybe not quite as full. Alright, now we can kind of sketch those into position here however we want them, but maybe we want her to have sort of the hint of a smile, maybe a nice innocent little smile on her face here. So we can do that there. Let's come over here and flush out some of these details in the character's ear. Now we've got this little nubby thing that everyone has on their ear, and you know, for this character, let's go ahead and go with a little more of a stylized look, and kind of put that down a little bit further into the corner. Instead of right here, more traditionally, it'd be up a little higher. And let's just bring this ear in and around. Got quite a few lines going on there. Might go ahead and get rid of some of those, just so we can see exactly what we're doing here. Alright, so I think we're looking pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead and focus in on fleshing out this area down in here a little bit. Now, we really haven't spent a whole lot of time on our hair, and, you know, again, just as in previous lessons, we don't need to focus completely on repeating this shape identically here. I think that, you know, maybe we want to create a little bit more natural flow to the hair. Maybe we bring it in a little bit closer to her face right there, and then bring it out a little bit. Maybe there's a tuft of it, sort of like that. Then we could bring in, you know, another tuft that kind of comes down close to this initial line here. And let's go ahead and bring in sort of some nice curls here at the end. Sort of like that. Now we can always hide that shape if we need to. Kind of see how it's looking there. Let's come in and bring in this top line right here. That was pretty close to the original shape, and go ahead and bring in this fold right here that kind of goes towards her part. And let's bring this one down and around. Maybe it didn't come quite that far out. Sort of like that. Let's bring out a couple more little strands here. There's one here. And we'll just wrap this down and around her shoulder. Alright, looking pretty good. You know, looking at her hair here and how it kind of comes down on the inside right here next to her eye, maybe we should bring that down and around just a little bit, sort of solidify that. We've got our line from our ellipse. Maybe it comes down and into her face just a little bit. There's a couple little wisps of hair right here. Sort of like that. Just refining, tweaking as we go. Now, I'm looking here at her body and her shoulders, and we kind of decided to do sort of this thing where she's got her shoulders a little bit shrugged, and, you know, they're reaching down, and she's clasped her hands together down here out of view. So, you know, let's just erase a little bit of that here. We need to come in and refine this a little bit. Let's go ahead and maybe give her a shirt of some kind. Maybe she's wearing sort of a little tank top type thing here. Alright, so really looking pretty good with this character, and I'm really starting to feel really good about this. So, you know, I think this is about as far as I'm going to take the pencil lines, and I think we're ready to go ahead and flush these lines out in the next lesson using some refined line work. So in the next lesson, we'll pick up where we're leaving off here and continue working on this character.